Narrowing down the 10 best books was brutal. There's books I absolutely love that didn't make the list that shocked me. But ultimately, these are the 10 books that have stuck with me the longest and that changed me. There's sprawling westerns, there's horrific horror books on here, there's epic crimes and literary masterpieces. These are the 10 books that have changed me as a reader. Let's talk ground rules. First ground rule. This is as of August 2025, so don't hold me to this list if I film it again in 2 years and there's some change. You know, as I read more books, things might change and affect me differently, and that's the beauty of reading. Number 2, an author can only appear on this list once. It's not just going to be the same 3 authors over and over and over again. And finally, ground rule number 3, the one that makes me most irritated when I see somebody else's top 10, a series is not a book. You need to pick one book from that series to put in that spot. Meaning, Joe Lansdale's Hap and Leonard series is not book number 7. That's a 15-book arc. Pick one from that, not the entire thing. Make a choice. And as you're watching, I would love for you to let me know what books you think I've missed. And for those who have been around before, you know that I love S.A. Cosby. You've seen the thumbnail, you know he's on this list. Let me know before you watch it where you think he's going to end up on it. You might be surprised. Okay, so let's dive in with number 10. You've heard of blockbuster movies, but what about blockbuster novels? Or blockbuster novels that inspire blockbuster movies? That's right, I'm talking Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. You've heard of the movie, you've probably seen the movie, and you probably think, what do I need to read the book for? I've seen the movie, I get it. It's dinosaurs running around. And yeah, I mean, that's the plot of the book is dinosaurs on the loose. But the book is so much more than the movie. I don't want to say that the book is better than the movie. They're similar in a lot of ways, and they're also like vastly different in a lot of ways. And the book is so much more terrifying than the original movie. There's these horror scenes, there's this tenseness into it. They kiddified some of the characters, like the grandpa in the movie, he's this dodding old man that loves his grandkids. In the book, he's a ruthless, mean person. And just being able to feel the horror of being at this park is incredible. Michael Crichton sets that up amazingly. In the movie, you're awed by it all. And in the book, you really feel the terror that the characters have. It really leans into, should humanity be doing this? Should man be messing with science like this? Should man be playing God like this? And that's something that the movie touches on, but like the book is really hammering that home, and it's just magnificent. And yeah, you really should be reading Jurassic Park. It's that great. Number 9 is the most recent book that I've read that appears on this list. It's The Last King of California by Jordan Harper. I read this book a month ago, and I was kind of shocked that I put this on my list at number 9, but if I'm being honest with myself, this is the type of book that could literally jump 4 or 5 spots and be in my top 5 if I did this list in a year or 2. The themes of this book are incredible. It's the story of a 19-year-old kid who comes back home to California to kind of get himself back in with the motorcycle gang that raised him as a child, and inherit the throne and kind of run the gang as his dad's in prison. And it deals a lot with these themes that I wasn't expecting out of it. I was expecting, a fun crime story. We're dealing with generational trauma. We're dealing with PTSD. We're dealing with toxic masculinity, and we're dealing with the destruction of the American dream. All of that plays a big role in this book. And none of it seems heavy-handed, none of it seems forced, none of it seems like he's dropping these threads. It is, in my opinion, Jordan Harper's best book, and one that is criminally underrated and really should be read by a lot more people. Number 8, the book that crawled under my skin and has stayed there for 15 years. It's The Ruins by Scott Smith. This is an absolutely horrific novel. I have not looked at plants the same since I've read this book. We follow 2 couples who go on vacation to Mexico, stumble across these haunted ancient ruins, And come to find out, it's filled with these living plants. And these plants start attacking the people. It is grotesque. It is the best body horror I have ever read. It is tense. It is creepy. Scott Smith is an incredible writer. This is one of his 2 books he's ever written, the other being A Simple Plan. Both of his books are 5 out of 5 books. This is hands down the best, creepiest, scariest horror novel I have ever read. And if you want more horror novels, stay tuned, because in a couple of weeks I'll be putting out my top 10 horror books of all time. Some of you might recognize this next book from a video I did not too long ago. It's Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. This book was an absolute gut punch emotionally to me. This book was beautiful with its prose and absolutely heartbreaking with its plot and its story. It's the story of an American who's living in Paris with his fiancée when he starts an affair with another man. And it deals so much with the internal hatred of himself for being a gay man, as well as just society's hatred towards gay men in general. And the emotional weight of this book just absolutely floored me. What makes it so incredible is Baldwin's writing is magnificent. He's probably the most magnificent writer that I have on this list. And again, this is a book that I could see jumping spots later on if I did this video down the road. Baldwin's writing is that amazing. He pulls these emotions out of you. My heart was breaking for him. I can't say enough amazing things about this book. It's incredible how sometimes the shortest stories will leave the biggest scars. Number 6, All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. This book is everything that S.A. Cosby does well, boiled down into one amazing book. Yes, there is a police procedural going on here. We've got a creepy serial killer who's killing children. We have S.A. Cosby tackling racism in the South. We have him writing a great morality tale in this. Everything that he does so well is just on fire in this book. Some of S.A. Cosby's most humanized characters he's ever written. And that's not a slight on his other books. Most of his books are 5 out of 5s, but he is just firing on all cylinders here. And it's incredible to read this and get absorbed into the world that he's created. And I'm not necessarily one who needs a series, but I would love to kind of go back to this world and see where it goes after the story ends. And if you want more S.A. Cosby, check out my review on King of Ashes. I will leave a link to that in the description below. Number 5 is the crime epic that changed how I view crime fiction. It's The Power of the Dog by Don Winslow. This book is an absolutely massive, sprawling tale of America's war on drugs from roughly the 70s to the mid-2000s when the book first came out. It is the first part in his Cartel trilogy. Like I said, you gotta pick one book. You can't pick the entire series. And The Power of the Dog shows everything that Winslow does amazingly well. There's absolutely horrific violence in this book. There's absolutely horrific crimes happening, horrific people in this. There's nobody that you love in this book, but he also humanizes everybody in it. He humanizes this entire saga. But what The Power of the Dog does so well was really reframe how I viewed crime fiction. Up until me reading this book, it always was just kind of, these are fast-paced stories. These are ones that will give me a little bit of morality, maybe some heavier themes that I enjoy, but also I just want to turn the page and be entertained. And The Power of the Dog was the one that really said, whoa, let's take a step back and really look at what this genre can be and have it be held in a much higher literary weight. I cannot sing the praises of this book enough. You really need to stop what you're doing and check out this book and read it and give it a go. It's that amazing. Number 4, Attica Locke's Bluebird. This is another book that's part of a trilogy. This is the first book in her Highway 59 series, where we follow Darren Matthews, who is a black Texas Ranger in East Texas. And there is a bit of the police procedural part of him trying to uncover a crime, but where this book really excels, where Attica Locke really excels, is again the themes, but also where she's able to make East Texas come alive. And this is the book that showed me place and setting matters just as much as characters and plot. This book could not take place in Massachusetts. It wouldn't have that same weight, it wouldn't have that same history that East Texas has, and it would fall flat trying to tell that story. But she's able to tell this story, make these towns come to life, make you vision just the town itself, as well as the people and the inhabitants of it. And it is absolutely incredible what she can do to you in this. Okay, we have now hit the top 3. Let me know which books have surprised you so far and which ones you think are going to be coming up. But these next 3 novels are head and shoulders above everything else on here. It speaks to just how amazing these 3 books are. So let's kick it off, the top 3, with the 3rd book, Dinosaurs by Lydia Millet. Dinosaurs is a short story about a man named Gil who walks from New York to Arizona after a bad breakup. Once he gets to Arizona, he becomes friends with this family that has walls of glass. And throughout this whole novel, there is this underlying tension of some sort of major event going to happen. And you don't know when, and you don't know what it is. But throughout the book, you get these hints. The temperature keeps rising. Things are drying out. Animals keep being found dead and are becoming extinct. And you're kind of trying to figure out what that event might be while following the story of Gil and this family and coming to terms with how, again, this is going to be something that's going to happen to our planet and this climate crisis that we are in. And while this doesn't talk specifically about it and naming it, it is that underlying tension and showing you kind of, I don't want to say a roadmap through, but how humans can come together in a time like this, not to solve it, not to make it go away, but to just bring humanity closer together and to be able to help each other out. This book is really quiet in its devastation, but it is absolutely beautiful. It is something that you could read in an afternoon if you wanted to, and you will be a much better person for it. And then there were 2. Number 2 is the first book on my list to win the Pulitzer Prize, but it's not the last one. It is The Western to End All Westerns, Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. Lonesome Dove is the great American novel. This is so much more than a Western, and calling it a Western really is a disservice to it because it is bringing in so many more themes than just the American West. It is a great romance novel. It is a great novel on friendship. It is a great novel about the dangers of land. It is a great novel about the dangers of man. And he just weaves so many great themes and plot points into this that you can't help but be swept up on this epic adventure that they take on this cattle drive from Texas to Montana. And these characters will stay with you. And everybody always points out as, Gus McCrae as being one of their favorite characters. But really, there's so many amazing characters in this that you fall in love with all of the characters. And it's just amazing how well he can manipulate you and show you the same story, and how he frames it will make you feel one way towards one character, where the other character is essentially the same thing, but his writing and his framing can make people hate them so much. And it's just this magnificent writing skill and his storytelling skill that he has that makes you fall in love with these characters. This is easily, a top 2 book for me that will never be knocked out of this spot. And it's only because this next book is that amazing that Lonesome Dove sits at number 2. All right, we have finally made it to the greatest book of all time. This is the book that literally, not figuratively, literally changed how I view and interact with the world. It is the Pulitzer Prize winning The Overstory by Richard Powers. This book is absolutely awe-inspiring. It is told in this really unique way where it starts out telling the stories of trees, and you literally start from the roots. And the first section of this book is called The Roots, and it tells the story of trees through the roots of these 6 different stories, and each chapter is its own little short story. From there, we go to the trunk, where the roots of the stories start to blend together, and you start seeing all of these different characters coming together for one place finally. And then it goes on to the crown, and finally the seeds. And the way that he uses his storytelling to tell this epic story of nature, of trees, of the devastation that humans have done to it, and a few people who are willing to do whatever it takes to save trees is incredible. This book made me go from looking at nature as just whatever's outdoors to really looking and seeing trees, seeing plants, seeing animals for the living, breathing, incredible creatures that they are. This book has literally transformed who I am as a person. And I don't want to give too much away about this plot because it is just so epic, and there's so many characters in it, and it's so down to earth, yet epic, yet sprawling, heartbreaking. It will make you cry. This book is just incredible, and it will literally change your life. This is the one book I think everybody on this planet should read. And I think a lot of the devastation that happens to our planet would be changed if everybody read this book. All right, there you have it. My absolute definitive top 10 best books of all time. But now I need your help. What is the one book that you would fight to the death to make sure was on anybody else's top 10 list? Drop it in the comments below, and let's get a porch-wide collective list of the best books of all time. And if you're into horror, in a few weeks, I'm going to be sharing my top 10 horror books of all time. So stick around for that and see what else pops on that list besides The Ruins. Until next time, keep your porch light on.